All right. Hey, everybody, what's going on? We're back, and this is part one of Exposing Christianity. Let's continue on. All right. The next part says, the extent of the Christianity hoax is mind-boggling. What is on this website is just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak. We will be adding more articles soon. All right? Concerning the powers of the mass mind, the power of the united thought of a number of people is always for more than the sum of their separate thoughts. It would be more nearly represented by their product. And that comes from the article called, that's a book. It's called The Astral Body and Other Phenomena by Lieutenant Colonel Arthur E. Powell. Copyright 1927. The following articles provide proof that everything in the Christian religion and in the Bible has been stolen. Give me a minute, y'all. Something in my eye. All right. The following articles provide proof that everything in the Christian religion and in the Bible has been stolen from other religions that predated it from all around the world. Hinduism, Shintoism, Buddhism, even Satanism. I guess that's how you pronounce that word. And many more of the Far East. Christianity is a tool for removing spiritual and occult knowledge from the populace, so this power can be kept in the hands of a few to manipulate and enslave the masses. Few people bother to do any research. Christianity has nothing of its own. To really understand the Bible and see the truth, one must be very well, go to the next slide, one must be very well educated in the occult. The mass mind is very powerful. When one studies long enough, and acquires advanced knowledge of the occult the truth is utterly shocking. The entire Judeo-Christian Bible is a hoax of catastrophic proportions with a very clear objective using subliminal means and the channeled psychic energy of believers. That's just like that's just like saying, oh, I heard a word from Christ Jesus, or I heard a word from God Almighty, or I heard something from the Holy Spirit. How do you know that the energies that you're tapping into might be energies of your own subconscious mind, metaphysically and culturally speaking? Okay, keep that in mind, Christian folk. The religious and mythological beings that you're hearing from your own soul, heart, and mind could be energies of your own subconscious mind. And this is due to what you have been indoctrinated with as a Christian. Okay? And I hate to break it to you, but a scripture just came to my mind. Book of John, chapter 8, verse 30. Book of John, chapter 8, verse 32. It says, I'm gonna say it plainly. It says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Again, it doesn't say you shall believe in the truth. It says you shall know the truth. To know is to be aware. To believe is to have an emotional attachment to what has already been said. But keep this in mind. Knowing is higher than faith. But you can't have knowing alone. All right? Am I honest? From Brother Devon's personal experience, you can't have just knowing alone. You also have to have. I'm gonna keep it real. You have to have true faith. All right, not false faith, because false faith is what I just said. I can't even talk today. False faith is what I just said. It's the belief in unverified evidence, okay, or the belief in unverified thought. True faith is the true faith is the belief in verified thought, or it's the it's the visual presentation of evidence that is factual. Okay, that's true faith, which is something that I'm highly aware of, strongly, now being a conscious and subconscious individual and teacher. All right, let us continue. All right. So it says, whenever Christianity or its cohorts took control of a country or region, the ancient spiritual texts and records were removed and or destroyed, and those who had spiritual knowledge were mass murdered by the Inquisition. And for those who did not see that lecture, I did a four-part video lecture on the Christian Inquisition. So y'all go ahead and check that out, okay? Is there go to the Occult World of Brother Devon on YouTube and check it out. All right. Continuing on. It says this took out of circulation the very knowledge those in power have used and still use to manipulate the ignorant population using spiritual occult power. In this case, most Christian reverends, preachers, Christian teachers, apologists, and an apologist is somebody that they're basically faith defenders, you know. So their whole position is to defend the belief system at all costs, no matter what. Okay, that's an apologist. I should know that because before my dropout of Bible college, I was in school for a couple of years. Okay. So yeah, and just because I left doesn't mean that just because I left and don't have a certificate, it doesn't mean that I don't know what I'm saying. I still have tangible evidence that I went to Bible college, and I don't hesitate to I won't hesitate to show y'all that in the near future. I can't show y'all that now because, for one, it will be way too long of a video, and I will have to go through the box that's still packed up with my Christian education book in there. But yes, I was studying to be both a youth pastor and music minister. But when I turned 21, I had a reawakening to the truth of myself, the world around me, and the entities that most humans that are succumb by religion. Yeah, I had a I had an encounter with the truth. Long story short, I had an encounter with what I now understand is the truth, and I'm not gonna let anybody convince me otherwise. I, I, I rather live in what I know than rather live in what somebody else knows for themselves. Because what one person believes might not be the knowing or the right belief for you. Okay? You can't have the reason why I put emphasis on the word belief is because you can't have OBEs or NDEs, that means outer body experience or near death experiences, without belief. It's just like perfect example. I'm not going to be able to experience anything of metaphysics and the occult without belief. And most of us conscious and subconscious folks say that it's not about belief. It's about knowing, and to the extent that statement does have some validity, but in order for things to actually happen within that new belief system, I mean, let's keep it real. Metaphysical science and occult science and metaphysical and occult reality in and of themselves is a belief system. It is. Let's keep it real. It is a belief system, and you wouldn't be able to experience nothing without having. You wouldn't be able to experience anything of the so-called supernatural or paranormal if you didn't have any tangible evidence to fall back on. Am I right? Okay then. So let's not act like these things don't exist. Now again, I'm not trying to tell you what to think or believe. You have the right to your own intellectual dignity and information. Okay? But I know for me over here, I'm going by what I feel to be the truth, and no, I'm not just going by theistic satanic knowledge and understanding. I also have my own knowledge and information that I'm aware of, I commit to, and I have full understanding of it. I'm a semi collective, okay? Cause if I was a full collective, I would have just said I'm a collective, and to be a collector of information that's really you saying you believe in any and everything, and it's fortunate that I don't. Okay, because not everybody's not everybody's religious beliefs and religiosity is for me. Do I respect most religions? Yeah, but not everyone's divinative truth is for me as an individual. I have the rights to my own intellectual dignity and information just as everyone else does. Okay, my 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 job is not to convince you of anything I'm saying. Please go do your own research. And, if you convinced that what I'm saying is the truth and you accept it, congratulations. Now remember, if you do that, I want you to keep in mind that that's a choice that you as a man and a woman have made watching this video. Okay? I didn't tell you to believe in metaphysics. I didn't tell you to believe in occultism. I didn't even tell you to believe in theistic, aka spiritual Satanism. I didn't tell you to believe in none of what I believe in, or ancient Egyptian science and philosophy. I didn't tell you to believe in that either. I I said do your own research. Commit to your own intellectual dignity. I'd be I'd be I I'd be a fool to tell you whether something is right or wrong. As an educator, I can tell you from my research whether something is valid, invalid, correct or incorrect. But I'm not going to tell you no what you're believing is wrong, or no what you but believing is right. All I'm gonna ask you is all I'm gonna ask you is two questions. How do you know that that's right? And yeah, I'm gonna either say okay, I'm either gonna say okay, that's what you believe because what you believe is your experience, or I might ask you how do you know what you believe is valid? Do you have any evidence? Do you have any other tangible, factual evidence other than what the Bible tells you? Because what I do know is that most of the Bible is plagiarized from other religions. Y'all do know that, right? I just quoted John chapter 8 verse 32. You shall know the truth, and the truth will set you free. It didn't say believe in the truth. It says to know the truth. What does it mean to know something? It means to be fully aware of the spiritual information that you are learning about. Okay? How can you defend something you have no knowledge of? How can you defend something you have no knowledge of? Because the truth of the matter is that thing that you're believing in could be wrong. And the only reason why I believe so strongly in the things that I believe in is because I've seen tangible evidence, and I've had my own I've had my own I've had my own um I've had my own uh supernatural experience based on my own based on my own psycho based on my own spiritual psychological awareness of that which is of the supernatural. What I've seen, I just can't deny. Okay. All right. So continuing on, I'm sorry. I just had to share all that so y'all wouldn't be out here thinking, oh, brother Devin doesn't know what he's talking about, or Black Hogan 69 is crazy. You know what I'm saying? I can't convince anybody of my own experience. I can I can I can I can tell you if you're open if you're open to receiving what I'm saying, but it doesn't mean that I have the right to convince you of what I'm saying. Other than that, if I do that, then it's no longer spiritual. It's just a it's just a belief based on my based on my awareness of religion. Okay. Okay. That's the clinical cognitive psychologist in me. Okay. That's the clinical paranormal psychologist in me. I have to teach this way. I was born to do it, and I have the mindset for it. Okay. So, um, let me let me see. Read that part. Oh, okay. Let me start from the let me start from the third paragraph again. Whenever Christianity or its cohorts took control of a country or a region, the ancient spiritual texts and records removed and or destroyed, and who those who had spiritual knowledge were mass murdered by Inquisition. This took out of circulation the very knowledge of the very knowledge of those in power. Excuse me, that those in power have used and still use to manipulate the ignorant population using spiritual and occult power. The Bible is one of the most powerful subliminal tools used by a select few to enslave the masses. Most people are unaware of this because they lack knowledge regarding the occult, thought power and psychic energy. And psychic energy. I almost missed the period. The powers that be work to reinforce the belief that the occult powers of the mind and spirit are nonsense or just plain bunk. Those who had spiritual knowledge and or powers were hunted down and murdered by the Vatican. The Vatican has been a watchdog organization that has made sure any spiritual knowledge was kept under tight control and away from the populace. All right? Destroying the ancient records allowed an alternative invented history to be written, which has disconnected humanity from its true origins, controlling the past influences the present and the future. The entire Bible is the entire Bible is an extremely powerful subliminal tool full of occult numbers, messages, allegories, and stolen material which has been corrupted from ancient religions. In addition, this book has been infused with psychic energy and power to instill fear and to make it believable. And this is where in cognitive psychology or paranormal psychology, this is where you have this is where people try to put the fear of hell in you. Okay, they put the fear of hell in you, and they put the fear of hell in you, basically trying to convince you that if you believe in anything else other than this book, you're gonna go to hell, which we all know that's a lie. We all know that's a lie. But if your soul has been deeply ingrained with the imagery and the fears of hell, you may need to do more. You may need to do more spiritual work. I will also suggest shadow work. You may need to do a lot more spiritual work to deprogram your mind and your soul, because in order for a person to control the soul, that individual has to have your mind. That's really how you control an individual's soul. You control their soul by controlling their mind. And how does one control the mind? Trauma, symbolism, and repetition. What do I mean by trauma? In this case, you as a human being will have to indoctrinate and convince another human being that that what you believe in is real, and you have to give them enough information to say, look, if you really don't believe in this, when you die and pass away, this is what's going to happen to you. that sort of thing. But we all know, even through metaphysical and occult understanding, that none none of that is true. You don't love somebody by being fear by be you don't love somebody by beating fear into them. That's very traumatic. Okay, very very traumatic. You should you shouldn't do that. You you were never born sinful. You were born sinless. Okay? And I will expound on that more in part 2 of this lecture. This is part 1. Okay, we got a lot more to go. All right. I'm gonna be quick. I don't have time to explain. I mean, I don't have time to break down everything in this pamphlet. But I will make sure to put the website. Yeah, I will make sure to put the website on the at the at on the description of this video. All right, cause we got a lot to cover. All right, okay, so okay, has been corrupt. Okay, I'll start. I'll continue here. Which has been corrupted from ancient religions. In addition, this book has been infused with psychic energy and power to instill fear and make it believable. One's eyes are open and one has the necessary knowledge, also known as the spell, will no longer be effective. The entire fictitious history of the Jewish people in the mass mind establishment of the okay, spell will no longer be effective. The entire underlining, forgive me, y'all, I missed that part. The entire underlining theme of the Judeo-Christian Bible is the establishment of the fictitious history of the Jewish people in the mass mind. What the mass mind believes has power and the energy to make it manifest into reality, as thoughts are energy. So whatever you put your energy into psychologically becomes your reality. So to those that are ex-Christians, be careful what other Christians try to tell you, because I recently learned something. Recently, they have something called doctrinal teachings, and instead of explicitly reading to you what the Bible explicitly says, they take the Bible and put their own narrative on what the Bible says to them, based on either their personal belief or information that that was come across uh, based on another Christian's point of view. Okay, be 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 careful of those types, because they'll try to lure you back into the Christian faith, and try and have you believing that what they saying is real, when it's really all just false indoctrination. Okay, all right. Next part. There are vacuum sealed vaults in the Vatican in the in the in the Vatican literacy, containing thousands upon thousands of ancient esoteric books from around the world that have been stolen and hoarded over the years and kept out of public circulation. The Catholic Church, which is the root of the Christian religion, is controlled by secret society that has abused occult power to enslave the masses. The end goal is the total enslavement of humanity, which they have worked towards relentlessly and ruthlessly. All of this has already affected each and every one of us. Humanity has suffered unnecessarily. Humanity has suffered unnecessarily because of the denial of this knowledge. People have people have people have been coerced over the centuries into paying for their own damnation to the tune of billions and billions of dollars to keep its prospering and continuing only one thing: a lack of knowledge. Again, y'all, you shall know the truth. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Not believe, know. KNOW, know. Because belief, because false belief is belief in unverified thought. Remember, I told you that true belief is that which is based upon what they feel, based upon tangible evidence that is factual, and evidence in which they can see. That's true belief. False belief is But it's false belief is the belief in things that are in evident. Okay, and I rather have actual evidence in my hand uh than to have no evidence and 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 only facts based on r- religious opinion. I don't want that. I don't need that. I'm not going to um, I'm not going to reindoctrinate that, proselytize that, or propagate that. To 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 propagate means to profit or sell what I've been told. Okay? Now, continuing on, contrary to what most people have been indoctrinated with Judaism, Christianity, and Islam are relatively new religions. Okay? These are new religions, and humanity goes back tens of thousands of years. These three these three religions have worked relentlessly to keep us from spiritual slash occult knowledge, using this power of which all of us have. These so-called religions are built upon murder, torture, and lies, and the only way any lie of this magnitude can survive is to create more and more lies to destroy the people who know the truth. Christianity is nothing more than than a than a program. There is nothing religious or spiritual about it. Millions of people suffer depression, hopelessness, and confusion about life. The soul needs light, and very few know this or actively practice it, or actively practice the power meditation that will literally save their own souls because of a lack of knowledge and ignorance of the occult. Humanity has been placed under a powerful spell using occult power and indoctrinated not to question concerning those three so-called religions. This has been enforced by a century of Christians being duped into supplying their psychic energy and souls to be channeled into perpetuating the lie. Perpetuate means ongoing, and perpetuating means to keep going on with that thing that you've been taught. Okay? Which in the end will only benefit a select few. Everything that the Christians accuse the devil of is the reality of their own God, a murderer and a liar from the beginning. It's human hating, and he is a deceiver of all the nations. And that's that for that slide. We're gonna go into another one. Okay. Now this one is called the truth about Jesus Christ. Now, remember, keep your circle of knowledge up. Remember that there's more to know than what you've already been told. Okay? There is more to know than what you've already been told. All right? The truth about Jesus Christ. Many of you who visit this website know the facts regarding the Nazarene being a fictitious Jewish archetype for Gentiles to slavishly worship. Above all the Nazarene is a diversion and distraction to keep humanity from advancing spiritually, from working on and evolving our own souls. The fictitious character of Jesus was invented from spiritual concepts originating in the Far East, such as spiritual alchemy, such as spiritual alchemy, the Kundalini energy serpent of Satan. The Kundalini energy, also known as the serpent of Satan. And now I'll be doing a lecture on Satan, Satan, who's Satanism. I'll be doing a lecture on Satan, who Satan is, and spiritual Satanism or theistic Satanism altogether. Okay? And what is known as the real or chi life force and witch power. Truth be known, one saves one's own soul through advancing spiritually and activating the power. This power, excuse me, I read that wrong. One saves one own soul through advancing spiritually and activating this power. The Nazarene is a deterrent spiritually and keeps humanity enslaved through living a totally material existence. Christians cannot argue, as they do not know spirituality. They have not experienced it. How many Christian preachers slash priests can diagram the human soul? Once one's eyes are open and one is aware of the witch power concept, they can clearly see how this character was invented. Now, before I continue this, I also want to say that what I'm sharing is not up for debate. I am still learning as both a metaphysician and occultist and spiritual Satanist. Okay, so if you if you're gonna email me talking about what I'm saying is wrong and I want to debate you, I'm gonna decline every time, because as another one of my spiritual teachers used to tell me, and his other students, he would say, debating spirituality is like debating your own reality. And what that simply means is, if I'm gonna spend so much time and energy debating my own beliefs, I might as well not practice it and believe in it anymore, because what I'm basically telling myself within my own conscious mind is, I don't know if what I'm believing in is true or not. So yeah, for me, I rather live in the know than doubt what has been known my entire supernatural existence. Okay, it took me a long time to realize that physically, but I've always known this type of truth metaphysically. It's just that my own physical awareness had to come to grips with this knowledge and information. All right. Okay, give me a second. Got something in my eye. Gotta buy me some eye drops, man. That's ridiculous. Okay. All right. Once one's eyes are open and one is aware of the witch power concept, one can clearly see how this character was invented. The fictitious character of the Nazarene has been used to remove all spiritual knowledge and replace it with Jewish archetypes, Jewish cities, towns, and other fictitious Jewish material crap. The Jesus saves baloney, which is also called ad nauseam, and the born again phases have been twisted and imported into this fictitious character. In other words, deluded ones have been deceived into believing the character will take care of everything spiritual as long as they conform to the current agenda as dictated by Christian preachers and revised editions of the so-called Holy Bible. The debtors thus. Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't seeing that clearly. Thus, deters one from working on its own soul. There is nothing at all spiritual about the Nazarene or the Jewish invented Christian program. The Jesus character has acted as the thought police for ultimate control. Wars have been fought repeatedly over beliefs and ideas. When the enemy controls what is in the mind of the general populace, and the enemy then controls humanity. Forgive me, I'm getting hungry. I want something to snack on. All right, y'all. Okay. All right. Since the Nazarene is fictitious, he can be anything to anyone. He is whoever the current system claims and dictates. He changes with the times and conforms to any agenda. This is no different from the Judean Christian Bible, which has verses and contradictions to suit any argument or purpose. See the ubiquitous Nazarene article on the JOS website, which I will post in the description of this video. Okay. All right. And it's time everyone wakes up to the spiritual corruption. It is time everyone wakes up to the spiritual corruption that has plagued humanity to the tune of trillions and trillions of dollars, has damned, which means to curse, has damned souls, has caused endless and unnecessary wars, and has held science dangerously, along with everything else. The kosher parasites have taken their deluded Gentile followers for a ride with the Christian program, along with the hideous doctrines of Islam, have prevented and stopped humanity from evolving spiritually. This is a major cause of suffering for everyone. Excuse me, y'all. All right. I don't know what's going on with these eyes of mine, but I'm gonna go ahead and let my phone read the rest of this to y'all, and well, and once I'm done with the um the slides, that'll be the end of the lecture. All right. I'm a, I'm gonna let the phone play the rest of this, and then I'll come back to end the lecture. Okay? Be back in a minute.
Each event in the fictitious life of the Nazarene reveals a concept, stolen and corrupted from pagan religions predating Christianity. The birth of the Nazarene is said to have been in a cave, not in a stable. Early Christian tradition suggests that Jesus was born in a cave that was used as a stable. Too many doctrines predating Christianity, such as the religion of Taoism, state that the pineal gland is within a cave. There is an area within the brain where this very important spiritual center is located, which feels like a hollow and is the seat of this very important gland, which is defunct in most people. The pineal gland is a very important key to opening the soul and obtaining expanded consciousness, along with psychic abilities once it has been activated. There were the 3 wise men from the east who followed the star to the birthplace of the Nazarene. These wise men were mages, the Magi, otherwise known as practitioners of witchcraft, as this is what a mage is. Again, this is symbolic of a concept that was stolen from spiritual alchemy. For those who are new to the occult and meditation, true spirituality, you will have to do some further research and study. See Joy of Satan. But for those of us who meditate, we know of the condensed vril witch power which is circulated through the chakras, and appears as a star. This is the true meaning of follow the star. Again, the number 3, like the number 7. The 7 chakras crops up in the 3 mages, and this is symbolic of the Ida, the Pingala, and the Sushumna, the 3 main nadis of the soul, and also the 3 crosses of the chakras. The concept of the number 3 has been prolific in pagan religions that preceded Christianity by hundreds to thousands of years, and is symbolized by the devil's pitchfork known as a trishul, which originated in the Far East. The trishul symbolizes th. Serpentine energy piercing through the three granthas. See Satanic symbols. The numbers 3 and 7 are used extensively in the Judeo-Christian Bible where they have been blasphemed and corrupted. The virgin birth is another corrupted concept in that the chakras have to be clean and unobstructed for spiritual energy to ascend and circulate. In other words, this is the true meaning of pure. The union with the fictitious deity symbolizes the divine spirituality involved in raising the witch power, not fictitious YHVH, which is nothing more than a system of Jewish magic to use to enslave Gentiles. The supposed crucifixion of this impostor character Jesus Christ was stolen from some 18 different pagan gods who hung from a tree. In the Christian Bible, there is more than one verse that states the Nazarene was hung from a tree. Acts 5:30. The God of our fathers raised up Jesus, whom ye slew and hanged on a tree. Acts 13:29. And when they had fulfilled all that was written of him, they took him down from the tree, and laid him in a sepulchre. The Norse god Odin preceded Jesus the Christ. Odin hung from a tree and experienced a death of sorts to obtain knowledge. Through being reborn, he obtained gnosis, advanced spiritual knowledge, as did the Egyptian god Set, who was Aurocrucifida. Soul. In addition, Krishna, Marsyas, Dodonian, and Zeus also hung from trees. 144,000 inches is another Jewish Christian biblical corruption of an allegory having to do with one's chi force or witch power. Nearly everything in the Judeo-Christian Bible was stolen and corrupted from religions in the Far East. The supposed biblical creation in which they claim the fictitious Garden of Eden was in Mesopotamia, is to purposely misdirect and delude people away from looking to the Far East, as this is where civilization began and true spiritual teachings originated. Sadly, because of Christian infestation in these areas, many of the doctrines have since been corrupted and destroyed. The Latin cross was not a part of Christianity until the 7th century and not fully acknowledged until the 9th century. In addition, the human soul is in the shape of a cross. This reveals how spiritual knowledge has been destroyed and replaced with nonsense. The cross also represents the all-important four quarters, the tetragrammaton. The eclipse said to have occurred during the supposed crucifixion of the Nazarene also symbolizes the Negrito stage in spiritual alchemy, of blackness. This stage is also symbolized by the black crow and the black sun, the three crucifixions, with the Nazarene being in the middle. Two others in the legend were supposedly crucified with the Nazarene, is another allegory symbolizing the three crosses of the soul. There are three major sections of the soul where there is a cross of energies, the main being the neuter heart chakra larger cross, where the shoulder chakras have wings, and the two smaller hip and sixth chakras. The Nazarene's ascent into heaven is another concept of the Kundalini rising to the crown chakra, heaven. Earth and hell are all concepts stolen from Taoism, which preceded Christianity and Judaism. Heaven is symbolic of the seventh chakra, also known as the crown chakra. The earth or middle kingdom is symbolic of the heart chakra, and hell symbolizes the base chakra, where the hot fiery serpent Kundalini lies dormant. The miracles that the fictitious Nazarene performed are also an allegory and a concept of what the witch power can do. The prophecies of the Nazarene are also allegories of the psychic abilities that result from activating one's own witch power. The 12 apostles are corruptions of the 12 signs of the zodiac and also symbolize the witch's coven, along with the Nazarene being the 13th member. Traditionally, There are 13 members to a coven. There are also 13 primary chakras within the human soul. The Nazarene lived for a supposed 33 years. This again is another concept, the 33 vertebrae of the human spine where the Kundalini serpent ascends, which is a major advancement for the witch power. In closing this article, my own research has shown me Christianity is not 2,000 years old as they try to claim it is. From what I personally believe, Christianity arrived with the Inquisition. Research points to the Vatican making a deal with extraterrestrials known as Greys, wealth and power in exchange for human souls. In order for this to succeed, all spiritual knowledge had to be destroyed. This is no different from Jewish communism. The Bible is a blueprint for communism, and prepares believers to accept slavery and abuse. Whenever Jewish communism takes control, as with the former USSR, Red China, Cambodia, Tibet and all other countries, mass murders and tortures flew, the very same as with the
Okay, I'm back. The next part of that is supposed to say Inquisition. Okay, but so since we're toward the end of the slide, I'm 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 just gonna go ahead and and read the last part, and then that'll be the that'll be the end of that slide, because then we got another slide to read, and my left hand hurts, as why I stopped to take a break and eat my snack. um so we're gonna do we're gonna do one we're gonna do we're gonna do one slide and a half that's actually uh two parts, and then we'll save the other half of this lecture soon. I might start I might do this I want to say next Thursday. Okay, so be, be on the lookout for that, for uh be on the lookout for next Thursday of Exposing Christianity, part 2. All right. Okay, here we go, y'all. All right. So since we're at the end of this slide, I'm gonna read this part. Okay, it says Christianity and communism are very close spiritually and ideologically. This is a fairly well-known concept that has been adopted by various thinkers, from Thomas More to to leave to Lev Tolstoy, by various thinkers. Oh, I read that part. I'm sorry, y'all. Few people know that the world's first socialist state was established in Paraguay and was based on the ideas of Catholic Jesuits before Marx, as in Karl Marx, created his teachings. The Society of Jesus and roughly Jesuit religious order, and the Catholic Church was roughly equivalent to the KGB in Soviet Union. Above quotes taken from Pravda, the main Communist Party newspaper and leading newspaper of the former Soviet Union. From the article, is there any difference between Christianity and communism? And this pamphlet was written on April 30th, 2013. Okay? And this shows this shows where part of the resource from this information came from. The Woman's Dictionary of Symbols and Sacred Objects by Barbara G. Walker, page 54, and ChristianityToday.com. All right? So now we're going to go into the next slide, which is human sacrifice in the Bible. Now I have to check and see how many slides that is. If these are really long slides, I'm just gonna let my phone read it. Cause I do want to get some sleep. I do want to get some sleep after this. All right. So like I said, we're gonna continue the rest of this. We're gonna continue the rest of this lecture next Thursday of Exposing Christianity, parts 1 and 2. This is part 1. Next week is part 2. All right, so y'all get ready for that. Peace. All right, y'all. So I just checked this, and this has the scripture is Deuteronomy chapter 12, the 27th verse. This has King James Version, Old English. I'm not gonna read it like that. But I know that's what most the majority of the Christian community, I know that the majority of the Black Christian community, that's what they've been mentally trained and conditioned to read. So I'm not gonna read it like that, and I'm gonna tell you why. I rather have a new living translation version of the the Bible, okay, and then yeah, I mean, I have a New Living Translation of the Bible, and I kind of like reading out of it, but then I don't, because there's some words in there that have been edited and changed. But that was my parents' idea. They're the ones that picked out the NLT for me. All right. All right. Um. So what I'll do is I will let my phone read this, and that'll be the end. Cause I'm not I'm not gonna read all 14 pages of this if if the scripture are in King James 1611 Old English. Okay. Now, I want to keep I want to keep my black folk in mind. This information that I got via Joy of Satan uh, came came from came from came from came from came from European individuals. Okay, that that know a little bit of metaphysics and a lot of occultism. Okay, this is not information of my very own. But part two, I'm definitely gonna hook it up, no doubt. All right, and that'll be next Thursday. All right, I'm gonna let my phone read this, and then that'll be the end of part one. Okay.
Human sacrifice in the Bible. Deuteronomy 12:27. And thou shalt offer thy burnt offerings, the flesh and the blood, upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and the blood of thy sacrifices shall be poured out upon the altar of the Lord thy God, and thou shalt eat the flesh. The Judeo-Christian Bible is chock full of blood sacrifice, human blood sacrifice. Most Zions rely on what their preacher has to say and or are too lazy or mentally challenged to read and study for themselves. How many people bother to really think? In addition to the blatant human blood sacrifices for Jehovah, bloodbath after bloodbath took place under the direction and orders of this bloodthirsty entity in the form of numerous wars and other acts of inhumanity. Gentile holy texts and sacred writings have been replaced with this Jewish invented and written filth. There is nothing spiritual about it, just murder after murder, no different from the Jewish-controlled Hollywood and its emphasis on violence, bloodshed, and murder to no end. Exodus 22:29. Thou shalt not delay to offer the first of thy ripe fruits, and of thy liquors, the firstborn of thy sons shalt thou give unto me. Ezekiel 20:12. 25:26 Wherefore I gave them also statutes that were not good and judgments whereby they should not live. 20:26 And I polluted them in their own gifts in that they ought to pass through the fire all that open of the womb that I might make them desolate, to the end that they might know that I am the Lord. 2 Samuel 21 is another example of blood sacrifice to appease Jehovah. 21:6 Let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. 21:9 And he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them in the hill before caused to pass through the fire all that open of the womb that I might make them desolate, to the end that they might know that I am the Lord. 2 Samuel 21 is another example of blood sacrifice to appease Jehovah. 21:6 Let 7 men of his sons be delivered unto us, and we will hang them up unto the Lord in Gibeah of Saul, whom the Lord did choose. 21:9 And he delivered them into the hands of the Gibeonites, and they hanged them in the hill before the Lord, and they fell all 7 together, and were put to death in the days of harvest, in the first days, in the beginning of barley harvest. 21:10 And Rizpah the daughter of Aiah took sackcloth, and spread it for her upon the rock, from the beginning of harvest until water dropped upon them out of heaven, and suffered neither the birds of the air to rest on them by day, nor the beasts of the field by night. When 7 men are murdered in cold blood in order to appease Jehovah in hopes that he will end a famine, it can only be called human blood sacrifice. More blood sacrifice. Numbers 31 hours, and 25 minutes And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, 31 hours, and 26 minutes Take the sum of the prey that was taken, both of man and of beast, thou, and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation, 31 hours, and 27 minutes And divide the prey into 2 parts, between them that took the war upon them, who went out to battle, and between all the congregation, 31 hours, and 28 minutes And levy a tribute unto the Lord of the men of war which went out to battle, 1 soul of 500, both of the persons, and of the beeves, and of the asses, and of the sheep, 31 hours, and 29 minutes Take it of their half, and give it unto Eleazar the priest, for an heave offering of the Lord. One portion of 50, of the persons, of the beeves, of the asses, and of the flock. (31 hours, and 30 minutes And of the children of Israel's half, thou shalt take 1 portion of 50, of the persons, of the beeves, of the asses, and of the flocks, of all manner of beasts, and give them unto the Levites, which keep the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord. 31 hours, and 31 minutes And Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded Moses. 31 hours, and 32 minutes And the booty, being the rest of the prey which the men of war had caught, was 600,000 and 70,000 and 5,000 sheep. 31 hours, and 33 minutes And 312,000 beeves. 31 hours, and 34 minutes And 301,000 asses. 31 hours, and 35 minutes And 32,000 persons in all, of women that had not known man by lying with him. 31 hours, and 36 minutes And the half, which was the portion of them that went out to war, was in number 300,000 and 30,000 and 500 sheep. 31 hours, and 37 minutes And the Lord's tribute of the sheep was 615. 31 hours, and 38 minutes And the beeves were 36,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 312. 31 hours, and 39 minutes And the asses were 30,500, of which the Lord's tribute was 301. 31 hours, and 40 minutes And the persons were 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. This excerpt was taken from the Handbook of Jewish Knowledge by Nathan Osubel, copyright 1964, pages 302-303. Jephthah, one of the ruler judges following the conquest of Canaan, had sacrificed his only daughter to the God of Israel in a celebration of a military victory against the Ammonites. Samuel the seer had hacked in a sacrificial manner the body of Agag before God. David, the sensitive poet king, had handed the 7 sons of Saul to the Gibeonites to hang them up unto God. An example of this can be seen below. How the verse was changed in Judges 11:39. In the others, the human has been replaced with the lamb. Judges 11:34. And Jephthah came to Mizpah unto his house, and, behold, his daughter came out to meet him with timbrels and with dances, and she was his only child. Beside her he had neither son nor daughter. 11:35. And it came to pass, when he saw her, that he rent his clothes, and said, Alice, my daughter, thou hast brought me very low, and thou art one of them that trouble me. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. 11:36. And she said unto him, My father, if thou hast opened thy mouth unto the Lord, do to me according to that which hath proceeded out of thy mouth. Forasmuch as the Lord hath taken vengeance for thee of thine enemies, even of the children of Ammon. 11:37. And she said unto her father, Let this thing be done for me, let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains, and bewail my virginity, I and my fellows. 11:38. And he said, Go. And he sent her away for 2 months, and she went with her companions, and bewailed her virginity upon the mountains. 11:39. And it came to pass at the end of 2 months, that she returned unto her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed, and she knew no man. And it was a custom in Israel. 11:40. That the daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah the Gileadite 4 days in a year. Just how obvious can this get? In Judges 11:35, Jephthah rents his clothes. For those of you who are unfamiliar with this term, it is a Hebrew and also ancient custom to rent, rip, one's clothes upon the death of a loved one. For I have opened my mouth unto the Lord, and I cannot go back. He has made a promise to sacrifice his only daughter to Jehovah. It is also glaringly apparent Jehovah demanded this act in exchange for his victory over his enemies and the children of Ammon, as he stated, I cannot go back. In Judges 11:37, his daughter states, Let this thing be done for me, let me alone 2 months, that I may go up and down upon the mountains, and bewail my virginity. This thing be done for me and bewail my virginity. Here it is obvious Jehovah demanded the sacrifice of a virgin. Judges 11:39. When she returned to her father, who did with her according to his vow which he had vowed, and she knew no man. And Judges 11:40. The daughters of Israel went yearly to lament the daughter of Jephthah. This is so obvious. He sacrificed his only virgin daughter to Jehovah, who demanded this act in exchange for his securing a victory for Jephthah. Cannibalism. Deuteronomy 28 hours and 53 minutes. And thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body. the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters, which the Lord thy God hath given thee, in the siege, and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee, 28 hours, and 54 minutes, so that the man that is tender among you, and very delicate, his eye shall be evil toward his brother, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children which he shall leave, 28 hours, and 55 minutes. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children whom he shall eat, because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates. 28, 56. The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, her eye shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter, 28 hours, and 57 minutes, and toward her young one that cometh out from between her feet, and toward her children which she shall bear, for she shall eat them for want of all things secretly in the siege and straitness, wherewith thine enemy shall distress thee in thy gates. 28 hours, and 58 minutes. If thou wilt not observe to do all the words of this law that are written in this book, that thou mayest fear this glorious and fearful name, the Lord thy God, human blood was not enough. Jehovah gave clear instructions for the ritual slaughter of animals as well. Exodus 20:24. An altar of earth thou shalt make unto me, and shalt sacrifice thereon thy burnt offerings, and thy peace offerings, thy sheep, and thine oxen. In all places where I record my name I will come unto thee, and I will bless thee. Exodus 24:4. And Moses wrote all the words of the Lord, and rose up early in the morning, and builded an altar under the hill, and 12 pillars, according to the 12 tribes of Israel. 24:5. And he sent young men of the children of Israel, which offered burnt offerings, and sacrificed peace offerings of oxen unto the Lord. 24:6. And Moses took half of the blood, and put it in basins, and half of the blood he sprinkled on the altar. 24:7. And he took the book of the covenant, and read in the audience of the people, and they said, All that the Lord hath said will we do, and be obedient. 24:8. And Moses took the blood, and sprinkled it on the people, and said, Behold the blood of the covenant, which the Lord hath made with you concerning all these words. More instructions from Jehovah for blood sacrifice. Exodus 23:18. Thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leavened bread, neither shall the fat of my sacrifice remain until the morning. Exodus 29 hours, and 10 minutes. And thou shalt cause a bullock to be brought before the tabernacle of the congregation, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the bullock. 29 hours, and 11 minutes. And thou shalt kill the bullock before the Lord, by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. 29 hours, and 12 minutes. And thou shalt take of the blood of the bullock, and put it upon the horns of the altar with thy finger, and pour all the blood beside the bottom of the altar. 29:13. And thou shalt take all the fat that covereth the inwards, and the caul that is above the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, and burn them upon the altar. 29 hours, and 14 minutes. The flesh of the bullock, and his skin, and his dung, shalt thou burn with fire without the camp. It is a sin offering. 29 hours, and 15 minutes. Thou shalt also take 1 ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the ram. 29:16. And thou shalt slay the ram, and thou shalt take his blood, and sprinkle it round about upon the altar. 29 hours, and 17 minutes. And thou shalt cut the ram in pieces, and wash the inwards of him, and his legs, and put them unto his pieces, and unto his head 29. 18 And thou shalt burn the whole ram upon the altar. It is a burnt offering unto the Lord. It is a sweet savor, an offering made by fire unto the Lord 29 hours, and 19 minutes. And thou shalt take the other ram, and Aaron and his sons shall put their hands upon the head of the ram 29 hours, and 20 minutes. Then shalt thou kill the ram, and take of his blood, and put it upon the tip of the right ear of Aaron, and upon the tip of the right ear of his sons, and upon the thumb of their right hand, and upon the great toe of their right foot, and sprinkle the blood upon the altar round about 29 hours, and 21 minutes. And thou shalt take of the blood that is upon the altar, and of the anointing oil, and sprinkle it upon Aaron, and upon his garments, and upon his sons, and upon the garments of his sons with him, and he shall be hallowed, and his garments, and his sons' garments with him 29. 22 Also thou shalt take of the ram the fat and the rump, and the fat that covereth the inwards, and the caul above the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is upon them, and the right shoulder, for it is a ram. Consecration. 29 hours, and 23 minutes. And 1 loaf of bread, and 1 cake of oiled bread, and 1 wafer out of the basket of the unleavened bread that is before the Lord. 29 hours, and 24 minutes. And thou shalt put all in the hands of Aaron, and in the hands of his sons, and shalt wave them for a wave offering before the Lord 29 hours, and 25 minutes. And thou shalt receive them of their hands, and burn them upon the altar for a burnt offering, for a sweet savor before the Lord. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord 29 hours, and 26 minutes. And thou shalt take the breast of the ram of Aaron's consecration, and wave it for a wave offering before the Lord, and it shall be thy part 29. 27 And thou shalt sanctify the breast of the wave offering, and the shoulder of the heave offering, which is waved, and which is heaved up, of the ram of the consecration, even of that which is for Aaron, and of that which is for his sons. 29 hours, and 28 minutes. And it shall be Aaron's and his sons by a statute forever from the children of Israel, for it is an heave offering, and it shall be an heave offering from the children of Israel of the sacrifice of their peace offerings, even their heave offering unto the Lord 29 hours, and 29 minutes. And the holy garments of Aaron shall be his sons after him, to be anointed therein, and to be consecrated in them 29 hours, and 30 minutes. And that son that is priest in his stead shall put them on 7 days, when he cometh into the tabernacle of the congregation to minister in the holy place. 29 hours, and 31 minutes. 29 hours, and 31 minutes. And thou shalt take the ram of the consecration, and seethe his flesh in the holy place. Leviticus chapter 1:1. And the Lord called unto Moses, and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, 2 Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock 3 If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord. 4 And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. 5 And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord, and the priests, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood, and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. 6 And he shall flay the burnt offering, and cut it into his pieces. 7 And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar, and lay the wood in order upon the fire. 8 And the priests, Aaron's sons, shall lay the parts, the head, and the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. 9 But his inwards and his legs shall he wash in water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar, to be a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord. 10 And if his offering be of the flocks, namely, of the sheep, or of the goats, for a burnt sacrifice, he shall bring it a male without blemish. 11 And he shall kill it on the side of the altar northward before the Lord, and the priests, Aaron's sons, shall sprinkle his blood round about upon the altar. 12 And he shall cut it into his pieces, with his head and his fat, and the priest shall lay them in order on the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. 13 But he shall wash the inwards and the legs with water, and the priest shall bring it all, and burn it upon the altar. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord. 14 And if the burnt sacrifice for his offering to the Lord be of fowls, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves, or of young pigeons. 15 And the priest shall bring it unto the altar, and wring off his head, and burn it on the altar, and the blood thereof shall be wrung out at the side of the altar. 16 And he shall pluck away his crop with his feathers, and cast it beside the altar on the east part, by the place of the ashes. 17 And he shall cleave it with the wings thereof, but shall not divide it asunder, and the priest shall burn it upon the altar, upon the wood that is upon the fire. It is a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord. Leviticus chapter 7:7. 1 Likewise this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. 7. 2 In the place where they kill the burnt offering shall they kill the trespass savor unto the Lord. Leviticus chapter 7:7. 1 Likewise this is the law of the trespass offering. It is most holy. 7. 2 In the place where they kill the burnt offering shall they kill the trespass offering, and the blood thereof shall he sprinkle round about upon the altar. 7. 3 And he shall offer of it all the fat thereof, the rump, and the fat that covereth the inwards. 7. 4 And the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is on them, which is by the flanks, and the caul that is above the liver, with the kidneys, it shall he take away. 7. 5 And the priest shall burn them upon the altar for an offering made by fire unto the Lord. It is a trespass offering. Leviticus 7:14 And of it he shall offer one out of the whole oblation for an heave offering unto the Lord, and it shall be the priests that sprinkleth the blood of the peace offerings. The Lord needs every drop of that blood from the blood sacrifice. Leviticus 7:27 Whatsoever soul it be that eateth any manner of blood, even that soul shall be cut off from his people. Here, more blood sacrifice is needed to remove the curse of leprosy Jehovah has inflicted. Leviticus 14:34 When ye be come into the land of Canaan, which I give to you for a possession, and I put the plague of leprosy in a house of the land of your possession. 14:49 And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, and cedar wood, and scarlet, and hyssop. 14:50 And he shall kill the one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. 14:51 And he shall take the cedar wood, and the hyssop, and the scarlet, and the living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird, and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. 14:52 And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and with the running water, and with the living bird, and with the cedar wood, and with the hyssop, and with the scarlet. 14:53 But he shall let go the living bird out of the city into the open fields, and make an atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. 14:54 This is the law for all manner of plague of leprosy, and scall. 14:55 And for the leprosy of a garment, and of a house. 14:56 And for a rising, and for a scab, and for a bright spot. 14:57 To teach when it is unclean, and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. More examples of blood sacrifices to Jehovah. Leviticus 8:14-32 Leviticus 9:1-24 Leviticus 14:1-5 Leviticus 14:12-28 Leviticus 23:12-21 Joshua chapter 10 Nothing but mass murder Judges 1:18 More bloodbaths and mass murder Judges 3:27-31 This goes on and on and on. Repeats of endless mass murder and bloodshed. The word blood is used over and over again. You would think this would all be so obvious. We all must bear in mind, the Nazarene was the ultimate human sacrifice. Also eat his body and drink his blood. Numbers 19:17 Joshua chapter 10 Nothing but mass murder Judges 1:18 More bloodbaths and mass murder Judges 3:27-31 This goes on and on and on. Repeats of endless mass murder and bloodshed. The word blood is used over and over again. You would think this would all be so obvious. We all must bear in mind, the Nazarene was the ultimate human sacrifice. Also eat his body and drink his blood is repeatedly recited during nearly every Christian mass service around. Numbers 19:17 Joshua chapter 10 Nothing but mass murder Judges 1:18 More bloodbaths and mass murder Judges 3:27-31 This goes on and on and on. Repeats of endless mass murder and bloodshed. The word blood is used over and over again. You would think this would all be so obvious. We all must bear in mind, the Nazarene was the ultimate human sacrifice. Also eat his body and drink his blood is repeatedly recited during nearly every Christian mass service around the world. The Christian mass service, A simulation of a human blood sacrifice. The article above and this article Jehovah, a murderer and a liar from the beginning reveal bloodbath after bloodbath, and the conquering and genocide of Gentiles at the hands of the Jews.
Oh yeah. All right, y'all. That that is it for that slide. Now I'm gonna I'm gonna do what's called an outro slide. So that means we're only gonna read the the first half of next week's slide, and then we're gonna continue this next Thursday. All right. So stay stay tuned for that. So it will be part 2 of exposing Christianity. But when I do part 2, I'm gonna not only share Joy of Satan's information, because most of the information presented in this lecture, I am using their information and research. Okay. And with that being said, hail Satan. All right, and I just want to say this for the record. You can also rewind this and take notes of the scriptures that were used in tonight's lecture on on exposing Christianity part 1. Th- we are moving towards the end of part 1 of exposing Christianity. This will be a continuation of next week, where we'll be doing part 2 of exposing Christianity. Okay, excuse me. All right, so be on the lookout for that. All right. All right. So what I'll do is I'll read the first half of the end of this lecture, and then what I'll do is my I'll have my AI, the Siri, read the scriptural part, and then I'm gonna end it with that, with my email, my Cash App, and the link to my Rumble channel. All right. With that being said, hell Satan, hell Black Satan for those of the occult world of Brother Devon community who are a part of that, and sick side to my community, and the joy of Satan, and to all Satanists and spiritual Satanists all across America and around the world. Six side and 9 side, baby. My bad, y'all. Almost forgot. Gotta read the first half of this. Okay. The Nazarene, the worst sinner of them all. This is referring to Jesus Christ, in the Hebrew the Hebrew faith. They call him Yeshua or Yahuwah. In the Black Hebrew Israelite faith, they call him either Yeshua HaMashiach, Yahuwah HaMashiach, or they call him Yeshua Hamashai, or Yahusha Hamushai. I mean, it doesn't really matter, because, well, whether you believe in a white Jesus, a black Jesus, mythologically speaking, black Jesus ain't nobody but white Jesus with a dark and copper tan. Okay. And I will expound on that more in part 2 of exposing Christianity, which will take place next Thursday. All right. So let's continue with the first half, and then I'll let my phone read the seven deadly sins, and then, well, I'll let my phone read one of the seven deadly sins, and we're gonna continue on next week, next Thursday. All right, so here we go. The Nazarene, the worst sinner of them all. Again, y'all, this is referring to Jesus, okay? It says this: Christians have believed that. Christians believe the Nazarene to be perfect, a peaceful, loving, healing, and understanding being. Most are too lazy to read the facts. Ashe. Most are too lazy to read the facts. The Bible may be the most purchased book, but it is the least read. The Nazarene was slothful, indolent, and lazy. He never worked like anyone else. He freeloaded and lived off the work and laborers of others. He was a rude, inappreciative guest who often insulted his hosts. He stole and ordered others to do so. He condoned and advocated murder. He is one of the worst hypocrites who ever existed. Now, we're going to go down into the seven deadly sins. But as I told you, I'm only going to allow my AI on my phone to read the paragraph on pride, and then the scripture, which is Luke chapter 10, verses 38 through 42. Okay, and then I'm gonna bring this up again next week, and then I'm going to put my own twist to it on part 2 of exposing Christianity. And in my conclusion, I want to say that I hope I didn't get I hope I didn't make too many of my white audience offended. My job and mission is to share what I feel and know to be the truth. And I'm not gonna say that what I'm sharing is the ultimate truth, because I know everyone else in the YouTube streets and community has their own thoughts, feelings, and opinions to the things that they see and hear. But for me and others that think alike, we know that the information that I just shared is the ultimate truth for us. Okay, so I'm not. What y'all need to know about Brother Devin is, what y'all need to know about Brother Devin, aka never mind the aka. But what y'all need to know about Brother Devin is I'm not one of these not nonchalant teachers. You know what I'm saying? I'm very clear in what I teach, as well as the things that come out of my mouth. I'm very clear, particular, and specific about the things that I'm saying. All right. Even if I'm even if I'm joking using either negative sarcasm or positive. You know what I mean? That's just my that's just my conscious human nature. All right. So I'm gonna let my phone read the second half of this, and then I will end it with my email, my Cash App, and my no, I'm gonna end it with my Cash App, my email, and my Rumble. All right. All right, y'all. I want to thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for listening to what I had to say and share, in addition to the stuff already presented in this lecture. And I will see you all next week, next Thursday. All right. So stay tuned to the occult world of Brother Devon channel. Six side? Yeah.
The 7 Deadly Sins. Pride. The Nazarene was a very arrogant, selfish and conceited individual. His overwhelming sense of negative pride and self-exaltation was seen in many of the scriptures. He was arrogant enough to insult his host and leave her with the burden of work while he hogged all of the attention, indicating an extreme sense of self-importance. Luke 10:38-42-38. Now it came to pass, as they went, that he entered into a certain village, and a certain woman named Martha received him into her house.